Peace, y'all. This is G1.
Rod Stars.
Together we are Rebel Diaz.
And we coming at you live and direct once again from the Richie Perez Radical Library in the South Bronx. And you're watching and you don't stop.
In this episode, as we continue to see the violence that's happening in the Middle East, we follow up on a free Palestine.
I also had the chance to hit up Union Square, Times Square in New York City to see what the word on the streets was going on once again with Free Palestine.
We also got a chance to follow up with more with YC the Cynic, emerging hip-hop MC straight from the South Bronx representing Hunts Point and the RDAC BX.
So the situation is getting crazier in Gaza. We're seeing more and more graphic images. For this week's El Reporte, Claudia had an in-depth conversation with Nancy Mansour, who Skyped directly from Palestine on the front lines with her feet on the ground, giving us live action of what's going on and giving us details that perhaps the corporate media may not be showing us.
We want to thank you, Nancy. We know that you are out there in the grounds in Palestine. Can you share a little bit about what's going on?
The situation really started, Gaza has been bombed way before Hamas even came into play. Hamas was formed in 87. Gaza's been bombed, for years and years and years. It's all written, it's all documented. This wave of events started right after the three settlers, occupiers, were apparently or supposedly kidnapped. There's many stories flying around that they were actually killed in a car crash and they were used as a tool for Israel to be able to attack Gaza again. As soon as it came out that they were kidnapped, Israel went on a rampage saying it was Hamas. Now, in the history of Hamas or any Palestinian resistance, they've never denied any operation that they've done. They've never denied kidnappings because they use them for negotiations to free political prisoners. They've never denied anything that they've done. Israel jumping to the conclusion that it was Hamas feels like it was also just an excuse for them to go down there and start the bombardment that's going on right now. Like I said, we only hear the planes. We feel rockets every now and again. You can hear them. Sometimes you'll feel it slightly. But, that's nothing compared to what's going on in Gaza. As of 4 hours ago, 195 Palestinians have been murdered by Israel. Entire families have been murdered, families of 12. Over 35 of those killed have been children under the age of 16. There's one case of a kid, I have to speak about him, Anas, who had put on his Facebook that he hasn't been able to sleep for 2 days due to the bombings. And he said, why don't they just hit my house so I could sleep forever? And they did, and he died. So rest in peace, Anas.
What do you think that people watching this right now, people watching you live in Palestine, could do to help wherever they may be watching you from? Anything that they could contribute or participate in to try to bring awareness on occupation?
Spread the news. That's the very least that anyone can do. Just share stuff, I know people are complaining about graphic pictures and they don't want to put likes. Putting a like on a Facebook page is just being able to spread it so that it stays on the top of people's news feed. Obviously, we know you don't like a picture of a dead baby. Also, it's not that we want to post graphic images, but people don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do things. This is shock value. You know what I'm saying? People see it and they're like, what's that? And it makes people read it. So if that's what it takes to make American taxpayers see where their money is being invested, then that's what we're going to continue to do. If people can go out and demonstrate, it's important. I know a lot of people are like, there's thousands out there. Every person counts. You know what I'm saying? Every single person counts. We need to shut down the streets, man.
So I was reading today that supposedly taxpayer money from the U.S. is what's actually funding a lot of the bombings going on. How do you feel like that as a taxpayer?
It doesn't surprise me at all and makes me really, really sad.
It's very unfortunate that American tax dollars do go to the destruction of lives and communities and children and women.
Israel has us kind of over a barrel. Comes from World War II. It's taken so long to get in the war and, all of that. So
anytime women and children is involved, civilians, it should not be done.
Oh, I totally disagree with that. I don't think we should be so generous to the Israelis. I don't agree with giving money to bomb. Very, very wrong. I hope Barack Obama hears that.
Sorry, I don't wish to comment.
Okay.
But I am pro-Israel.
I don't know anything about that. All I know is that Israel's military is 1,000,000 times stronger than Palestine's, and if Hamas wants a war, they're not going to win. It's not going to end well for Palestine and Hamas.
The worst, because it could be me. And I know people that are getting bombed, and I know these people's families, but you can't do nothing about it.
I'm showing them facts, what it's written in the Jewish Bible, and on what it's based Judaism. It's not a nationalistic movement, it's just a religion. And of course we are forbidden to oppress others, and the Holy Land we have to wait for the Messiah. And there are a lot of, they tell me openly they're not interested to serve God, they're not interested to keep the Jewish religion. According to the Jewish religion, they're not Jews, they're evil Jews, and according to our religion, we have to hate them. We have no connections with them. They're not Jews, and it's not right.
Sometimes people will associate cynic with like a person who may be negative, and your lyrics are so, at the end of the day, positive, so uplifting. Can you talk a little bit about how you see the Bronx changing and how, you know, what we could do as hip hop to be able to defend that culture and the people that create it?
Right now, what I'm seeing, especially in my neighborhood, is people that have lived in Hunts Point when it was literally burned down are not getting to enjoy the rebuilding of it because, you know, the rent is rising and who can afford that? And you're definitely starting to see new faces and you're seeing the old faces get displaced. If anybody from outside of the neighborhood comes and fixes up where you're from, it kind of leaves you at their mercy. So only thing we can do as a culture and as a people is to make it beautiful ourselves. Top of your head, top 3 MCs in the moment. In the moment, top 3 MCs, to me, Kendrick Lamar, Ab-Soul, and Chance the Rapper. What does YC the Cynic buy when he goes to the bodega? I buy bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant. Ah, croissant. Don't put it on a roll, it's a croissant. YC the Cynic, representing the South Bronx. For today, he is rocking the song Molotovs at Poseidon off of the disc GNK. YC the Cynic, Molotovs at Poseidon, DJ Charlie Hustle on the 1s and 2s, South Bronx, and you don't stop, let's go!
Check, 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 check. Do you know who you with? Do you know who you with? There's gonna be a lot of edits in this. Do you know who you with? A lot of blank spaces. Do you know who you with? Go ahead and fire your gun. You shooting at Zeus. I held on to my crown while I ripped through my noose. I got up from the ground, then I pulled up my roots. I reversed the earth, playing skip to my loop. You don't know who you dealing with. I dealt with the dealers, my dealing's different. I'm getting dealt with a lot more delicate. I notice you creeping, my job is keeping ahead of it. How can I hate you? You heathens I haven't sent. There's someone in back of you. If I'm pulling my back to you, keep your practices practical while I practice benevolence. You overheard me talking, thought I was embellishing. You envision my vessel, considered embezzlement. I consider you little when compared to a peasant, cause you belittle my presence without a litter of evidence. You're illegible. It's proof of illiteracy. No wonder my supremacy ain't nearly as evident. I'll ask you again, say it. Do you know who you with? Huh? Do you know who you with? What you looking at? Do you know who you with? Do you know who you with? Your damage is none. You just threw a Molotov at Poseidon. Fuck the flood in your iris and cry for an act of kindness. Try to cover your eyelids and run. I'll be triumphant, trust me, I'm on a diet. I'm hungry, my ribs touching my clutching your dinner like pliers with no appliances. Must be a sign you eating lunch is a giant luxury. Combined, couldn't add up to me. Signs wouldn't give a flying f***, and your flying job suckers reluctantly dive into a fire with gas dungarees in a dungeon from hiding your supper from God's company. I'm keeping your comments in God's custody. Better pray that the minds were on to something. You want a corner running from a fully functioning Mack truck, going backwards in a backwoods while I back up. So you either stuck on a bumper or under me to show you can't fuck with me. If ever you're wondering, I'll ask you again. Do you know who you with? By now? Do you know who you with? Do you know who you with? DJ Charlie Hustle.